security, but also their physical and mental health, their personal well-being, and of course, a sense of identity and dignity. Now, the world consists of youths with different personalities, statuses, capabilities, and abilities. But then we have to look forward to a world where there is equal opportunity and inclusion, especially for the youths with disability. And remember, disability is not inability. Now, that is why our topic today is based on the economic empowerment of youths with disability. And of course, joining me in the studio are guests from the National Union of People with Disability in Uganda. And of course, we have the program's officer, Deborah Eyute, and we have also Sarah Ojirot, who is the sign language interpreter. My name is Amuge Victoria, and you are welcome to the Education Forum, a show that digests the trends and development in the education sector. You're welcome, dear guests. So, Deborah, when someone is thinking about Nudipu, or when someone comes across Nudipu and they're so curious, how would you explain to them what Nudipu is, when it was established, and what it does exactly?
First of all, I want to say thank you very much, Madam Victoria. Thank you very much, UBC, for giving us these opportunities to always come and bring programs here.
You're welcome.
Nudipu is here in Bukoto Kisasi Road. It's by the name National Union of Persons with Disabilities in Uganda. It's an umbrella organization representing different categories of persons with disabilities. It was formed in 1987. So this year it's making 36 years old in November. We will see we have always worked focusing on persons with disabilities in the whole of Uganda. Nudipu, you know, as a national organization, it has different disabilities like the deaf, like we have Association of the Blind. All these categories of make an umbrella Nudipu, and they are members of Nudipu. It is advocates for a unified voice for all, in line with the different needs of its members. We work in the national as members, and we have organizations of persons with disabilities. These are 16 national organizations of persons with disability. At the district level, we have 146 districts, and we call them that District Union of Persons with Disabilities. So then people in the district, when they are looking, don't say that we are looking for Nudipu. Look for chairpersons of district unions for persons with disabilities. They are the ones who are representing Nudipu at the grassroots, working and following up the structures of Nudipu. Our board is a democratic board. It's always elected after every 5 years. It has clear structures. We have regional assembly, and then it comes up to the national level. That's where we elect the board members. And in this board, we have different representatives of all these disabilities. Mm-hmm. So after every 5 years, we elected it, and we have also our strategic plan, which is from 2020 to 2024, building the capacity of membership, institution development, skilling of staff, of board, membership, advocacy, and capacity building, focusing on these areas. Secondly, we have an area of advocacy. We as Nudipu, we've been working with the government to improve the frameworks whereby it is persons with disabilities are included. So this is what we continue advocating and engaging. So we can see even on TVs that there is a good inclusion. This is all because of advocacy of Nudipu. Lastly, we have social economic empowerment, social protection empowerment. This is what we are now talking here. This is the third area where NUDIPU is working in its strategic plan.
Okay, well, it's very clear that NUDIPU has a lot of roles that they play, and based on the fact that you said that you have some of these, is it regions put in different regions? Yeah, you have different sectors put in different regions to help the people with disabilities, and anyone could reach out to them. But then before we could go further to break down the topic and of course discuss some of the things you've talked about the background of NUDIPU, now let's talk about the disabilities. Now, someone outside there may be thinking about disabilities to be only people that are probably lame, deaf, or dumb, but then it is clear that there are different kinds of disabilities. So help us break down some of disabilities to make the viewers watching understand.
Okay, thank you very much. What I'd said previously, NUDIPU represents different categories of disability. One thing we need to appreciate is the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability says disabilities is an involving concept. What does it mean? Anytime any group of persons with disability can come up. That's why you see that our membership of NUDIPU is now growing bigger and bigger. During the creation, because they have created now their groups, but we as NUDIPU, we are working and following up the government framework. What does it say? Persons with the Disability Act 2020, it's very clear in the coding of which categories of disabilities. So NUDIPU is recognizing those coded groups of disabilities. So today I want to talk to you and I give you a clear label. What does it say? Some people say deaf and dumb. Dumb. No. A person cannot be speaking, but the head is working very well. So we say that deaf people. That is the category. Or hearing impairment category, whereby the deaf are in, where people who will have the hard of hearing are in, persons who have challenges with speech are in that category. Then we go with the visual group. Vision also has different groups. There are those who are partially blind, those are lower vision, then there are those who are fully blind. That we have them, the association called Association of the Deaf, of the Blind. Then we have physical, who are very many in different forms. But now public, it's not that they are lame, but they are physically disabled. So we call them persons with a physical disability. Somebody cannot have one hand, somebody can be moving or using a wheelchair. These are all categories that we put together as physical categories. Then we also have cerebral palsies. Many times they can multiple, the physical is in, mental is in one person. Depending on the situation of this person is where we categorize it. Then we also have little persons, where we call it people of short stature. Then yes, we see them as physical, but when we look at their needs, it's different from the other one. So in case we have a switch, if the switch is in some level, they cannot put on this switch, so they also have their own challenges. So we also have a group of intellectual disabilities. But within the intellectual disabilities, there are also there are different categories. There are those who have learning difficulties, which needs to be supported, to be guided throughout their lives in order whereby they cannot make independent decisions, even if they go up to university. But they can learn up to university. But there are those who need daily activities to be supported, daily activities for them to grow up. Then we have another group called albinos.
Okay.
I think all of you will know that albinos, these are people who have a challenge with their skin. They are also taken up as persons with the disabilities, because their sight is not all that good, and their skin also is not all that good. So in order for them to protect, that's why you see most of them putting on capes and putting on long clothes in order to protect their skins from cancer. Then we also have deaf blind. Remember, this is one person who is deaf and at the same time who is blind. Okay. So most of the communication, they communicate using tactile, like the way I'm doing here. And some need nearby visions, or person signing for them near, or talking on a louder voice. Okay. This all need to be supported. Then there's also another one that is not very much visible, is mental health. People call them mad people. No, they are not mad. There's also a group, we call it psychosocial. Yes, anytime the challenge can come up, they go to hospital, they are guided, they are counseled, and they take their medicine, and their life continues on well. But you must be careful. We have persons with the mental health that we are many, but most of us don't know. The moment we have stress even in our places of work, it triggers somebody. So it's very important to us to know how to control the stress, and this will help us in our lives at our place of work. So this is a group that continues using medicine for their well-being. Okay. Then we have another group called epilepsy. Anytime they get up seizures, but they can also control, and if they are aware and they use these drugs, it controls them from getting seizures. So we respect Disability Act of Uganda 2022. Those are the full members which the Disability Act has accorded as persons with disabilities. However, in education in our land, we have other groups who have special needs, like asthma, sickle cell. That is under education, we call them special needs, but they are not in the coding of the Uganda Disability Act. It's not in the laws of Uganda.
Okay, well, that is a lot about disability. When you talked about epilepsy, I was very shocked, and I'm like, oh, epilepsy is also a disability, because of recent there's an artist that died because of epilepsy. I think probably because of the lights that were lit on stage. But yes, that is not what has brought us today. Now, in your introduction, you talked about something to do with the objectives that you have for NUDIPU, and one of them was, of course, the empowerment of youth with disabilities. Now, since we are speaking about youth with disabilities, there are all people outside there that have disabilities and also need these equal opportunities that we are talking about, and the inclusion. Why, in specific, did you pick the youths with disabilities to empower them?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, surely we as NUDIPU, we work all around, children at school, youth at school, the old. But today we are talking about the youth with the disabilities. We believe that Uganda population, 70% is for the youth. So even in the disability group, the youth are more, they are growing more and more. Many causes of disabilities are coming up. When we focus like marketing their lives, how are their lives? We are NUDIPU, we remember, right now we are 36 years old. From our formation, I remember before that, our education was very low. So competing for these opportunities, skills were different enough. But right now, NUDIPU is saying that, what is our future? Younger people can lead us as our leaders. So we need to build their capacity. We need to give them skills. Okay. Give them access to opportunities like employment. Give them tools. give them information to help them to independently live. So also manage the situations. Remember, there's issues of now the drugs, where people are using drugs, betting, that has brought more problems to youth. But we want to give them skills whereby they can learn how to save and get employment or jobs that can help their livelihood. And this will help also them to contribute to the society, the development of the society.
Okay. All right. So there is a time where I would think that somebody who is lame only has to do certain jobs like sewing of shoes, the small jobs like those ones. But then there are different sectors in the country, there are different sectors in the world. The bank, okay, there is journalism, there are doctors and so many others. But then as NUDIPU, how have you helped some of these disabled youths or the youths with disabilities reach these advantaged sectors in societies?
What I can say, we as NUDIPU, we have two-way approach, formal employment and also self-employment. What do we mean? We encourage both. Self-employment, those are people who have never got an opportunity to have a formal education. We can give them skills like vocational skills in line with their needs. Remember the vocational skills, these are not automatic for all these disabilities that I've counted. Like epilepsy, they don't love very much the light, those sprinkles that come from light. So, and also the blind cannot do tailoring. So vocational skills depends on the ability of that person or that disability. Somebody who has it in their needs, that rhyme with their needs, those are the skills we give unto them. Then we also, NUDIPU, we have opportunity of village saving and loan associations. We have expanded to East, North, Central, West. This is a very good practice. We say, I save. What is the opportunity here? Persons with disabilities up to the grassroots in the villages, access to they would not get access to microfinance. So these are groups that we have formed, 30 members per group. We are taking persons with disabilities, the caretakers, they save their money weekly. So, and they also have opportunities to loan within themselves their money. So they form their businesses, then they refund back their money. That is one way that we feel that they will be financially free and independent living. So also we have youth lively program that we also connected to local government in these districts. We encourage the youth to form groups, benefit from the national special grant, and Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. The money goes straight to the district and district account. So we also have an advantage or opportunity of PDM, parish development model. We believe that these groups can also benefit from this development model. However, NUDIPU has so many projects, have vocational projects which even support younger people with disabilities, those who are active. So those who can work, who can have hand skills, we give them tools. After their short courses or short trainings, they can be 3 or 6 months. Then NUDIPU supports them with the starting tools. They start their enterprises like carpentry or welding. So, and then again, these young persons with the disability, again, employ other young persons with disabilities or even the other young people. We also have agriculture. We support them technically from the local government, like we join them with the extension workers. So the name, what we give them is that is self-employment. However, we also have the formal side. whereby we as NUDIPU, we advocate using the legal frameworks. We thank the government of Uganda because the policy environments are very good. There are also affirmative action. We have reasonable accommodation. We talk about non-discrimination. There are many things. Those are the opportunities we use for engaging an employer organizations, sensitize them on the disabilities. And when our youth from university finish up their education, we influence and we also ask for them to include persons with the disabilities in all that they are doing in their areas of. So we also talk to district service commission. We help them, we sensitize them when they're interviewing, what access, what are the places, accessible places, and what things that can they use for these persons to understand, to help them all issues like accessibility. When a deaf person comes for interviews, and do you have a sign language interpreter in your panel? When a visually impaired person comes, do you have a computer with the JAWS to support this person in the area? So we support sensitized district service commissions on how to handle persons with disabilities when they are doing interviews. Like a deaf person come, you are talking and he is not hearing. Can you write down, in case there is no interpreter near, can you write down and give this person an opportunity to give you a feedback? However, all this is possible. The Constitution of Uganda, Article 32, it talks about affirmative action, promoting these discriminated groups. So many universities, many public universities, we said that when we get 64, we've been given 64 slots. But now remember, we are now many. But many of these young persons go now on private basis. So we are discussing with the Ministry of Gender, and which has given us like 320 slots. We are now following up on that issue to make it that we have now 320 slots of young persons with disabilities to join public universities.
Okay.
However, many civil society organizations have livelihood programs. So we also lobby them and sensitize them to involve persons with disabilities by sensitizing them to appreciate the inclusion of young persons with disabilities.
Okay, so I noticed in your conversation, you were talking about something to do with the parish development model, and then of course the skilling of the youth with disabilities in vocational courses and training, and then also employment. Now, to break down that further, Uganda has one of the biggest challenges as lack of employment. There's unemployment, and of course when we are talking about employment of youths with disabilities, has it increased or has it decreased? Are there opportunities for these people?
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the underemployment usually for young persons with disabilities. Yes, opportunities for jobs are really very minimum, but compared to previously and now, we see that there is improvement. Many employers have appreciated inclusion. So we have also many partners, site savers, NUDIPU, Light for the World, FUE. Many are sensitizing, are doing the work of sensitizing, and they are appreciating because of these SDGs. At the international level, it was approved. So many CSOs have to recognize and respect these SDGs, the issue of inclusion. That's why we as NUDIPU, we don't focus only on formal education. We also encourage them to have entrepreneurships for themselves, business, getting loans. We have government opportunities, so they utilize those skills in order to start their businesses. So we encourage them also to catch up also the government opportunities. That's why we are taking two ways. So we are saying that we also see that many young persons with disabilities now who are dealing with the businesses are increasing. After university, when they see that there is no work, but they see that there is a market for this opportunity, they change their mindset. There is a mindset change, and they appreciate now for self-employment. That's what we can say now.
Okay. Now we very know clearly that when it comes to vocational courses or training, it involves hands-on skills. And then there are some youths that are completely disabled and may not be able to do some of these things. Is there any way that you have catered for them?
Thank you very much. In that area, like the deaf-blind, I give you, then intellectual disabilities, cerebral palsy, to some extent, they have multiple disabilities. Some visually impaired also, there's some who find it very hard. But what we do, remember there is a social protection frameworks. What do we say? They are caretakers. They benefit from IGA, income generating activities, and they benefit from national grants. We put in those groups also as the beneficiaries. But the caretakers do go and support them. Like for example, if maybe the group is for goats, the goats will be given to the caretakers. The caretakers will be working together with this person with the disabilities. Then those also, sometimes they learn also, they copy what the caretakers do. At some point they will learn what they are supposed to do. But all in all, we are trying to say that government, the SAGE program, it's not only for the old. Also try, Minister of Gender, also to think about the vulnerable groups. There are those who are very vulnerable. Can they benefit from the SAGE also, so that their life also and get in their needs too? However, when you see there are those who are very, very physically disabled, but God has given each one of us a gift. You can see that a person doesn't have hands, but God maybe has given this person a gift of his legs. A person can be blind, but God has given a gift of maybe singing, computer, or maybe pianos, playing pianos. This helps them. So in the vocational area, we identify whatever matches with that person's disability, what he or she can do. They cannot do everything, but at least there's one area God has given them that they can do something for themselves.
So improving the livelihood of persons with disabilities in order to prepare them for a more demanding job market is very essential, but then it hasn't been prioritized since the post-war reconstruction programs, and that is why they need to take center stage in order to tackle poverty. Now we are going to go for a short break and we'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Remember, our topic today is based on economic empowerment of youth with disability, and of course helping us break the topic down is the programs officer Deborah Eyute, who is from National Union for Persons with Disability in Uganda, and we also have Sarah Ojirot, the sign language interpreter. So yes, Deborah, the youth have a lot of distractions in society, and we are talking about distractions stemming from political, gambling, and so much more. Now, how has Nudipo helped these youth get into more productive activities that can help them develop and be better people in the future?
Okay, thank you very much. I agree with you. Remember, young people are very vibrant. Access to social media, they have a lot of information, so you can't lie them. We as NODIPU, we have many partners. Like projects, previously we were implementing a project called Inclusion Works, make 12.4% work. Now we have another new project, say We Can Work, in a partnership with Light for the World and the MasterCard Foundation. And also there are other partners. So what do? We remember we have affirmative action. Students who complete S6, they come, we guide them with the career guidance, and we give them courses which are at least marketable. So we tell them that this one, we don't want you to go out and find that there is no job. So we encourage them to give them guidance on career courses. So then after that, we follow them up also in the universities. We have mentorship programs, counseling them, how to prepare them to be ready for the next outside the university, life outside the university. What are the challenges? Self-independence, self-control, behavior, all this we guide them, all taking up these opportunities. What I'm happy to tell you, on the issues of betting, we have not yet realized many cases, because we prepare the mindset of these young persons for their future. We hand skills and they get their money. However, persons with disabilities are very active in the political. After university level, we see associations of students with disabilities. We find people representing gender in universities, they are voted in, but caution them that don't violate, no violence. Because you cannot run, you cannot see, so you be careful in the activities of participating in violence in universities. Like strikes, demonstrations, we tell them no. So we try to minimize, to give them early that, yes, there is freedom of participation in politics, but you should be very well aware, and these are some of the things can even cause disabilities. So, and then, however, at the village level, we do very much in skilling, and they implement these activities which they have skilled. What is easy, they take up the situations, and we link them to different persons and different organizations.
Okay. At some point in the conversation, as we're discussing, you mentioned something about the government. Now, how has the government intervened? And of course, has it provided a conducive environment and put up policies that could help you, like, or that would favor the youth with disabilities, of course, as empowering them economically?
Yeah. What I've told you, that our policy environment is very, very good. But one challenge is it's at the national level. But down there, the grassroots, it's not known about it. The district officials, many of them don't know about disabilities. So where we as NODIPU have projects, we have engaged the district officials, sensitized them, and gotten the programs which can bring them together to know that persons with disabilities there. However, what only the challenge is limited awareness on persons with disabilities. So okay. I request Ministry of Gender, being our responsible ministry, and to go down in the communities or down the districts to sensitize and give information about persons with disabilities, to help even the government staff or the budget holders to appreciate including persons with disabilities. That is the key area we NODIPU are asking the government to go depth to take this information up to the grassroots. Ministry of Gender has the CDOs, Community Development Officers. They are the ones who are responsible to give out information. But it's also good to give them the in-service staff, to give them information about persons with disabilities, what are their needs and what should be done to persons with disabilities to benefit.
All right. So as the National Union for Persons with Disability in Uganda, I'm very sure that when you're coming up with an objective or a plan, there is a reason as to why you are doing it. Now, since at the moment, you chose to pick the economic empowerment of youths with disability, why do you think as NUDIPU that empowering the youths is very important?
Yes, we have many objectives. We have social economic empowerment is the key to other areas. If I'm socially empowered, I can send my children to school, I can buy food, I can access to health care, I can move anywhere. So the key is social economic empowerment. In social also, we have barriers in the society, like awareness, needs for persons with disabilities. People don't know about it. They don't know how to receive persons with disabilities. They don't know how to involve persons with disabilities, and they don't know how to do it. So we do by sensitizing the society to appreciate the involvement of persons with disabilities in their programs, in economic programs, in that approach that it will help them to independently live in the society. And it's easier for them to stand and say, I am a member of a society, because awareness already is there. I have access to finance. My self-esteem is built up. I can compete in the society. I can show my potentials. When people should not undermine me, they can look at me as a potential person. So, and they can also respect me. And also opportunities for marriage are there. But if persons with disabilities are not there, so if me, I have a social confidence, I can stand in the community. We are saying that is one way of solving the negative attitude from the society, and also to improve economic involvement in the society. So we in NUDIPU, any project, we put the component of social empowerment so that persons with disabilities are empowered. We have many case studies. Like last month, we had a story that said that there's one gentleman in Moya. He used to be in isolation. We had no access to microfinance. He had no way of starting business. So when NUDIPU took up the project to Moya and encouraged them to form groups, so he went in and participated, saved his money, got a loan, and also got to know that other persons with disabilities are there. So he built up his confidence. Now he's happy, he's proud, he can stand, he can raise up his head up compared to how he was previously. So I think socialization is very, very important for persons with disabilities to share experience of each person, and it builds them their confidence. It's a key.
Okay. Now, for a very long time, persons with disabilities have been disadvantaged in our society. So what are some of the current issues related to economic empowerment that the youths are facing, the youths with disabilities in specific?
Economic empowerment, where we are getting the challenges now, is access to microfinance loans services. Remember, you should be having a security. But now imagine these young persons, they have not yet started work, they don't have land, they don't have even a house. So what security will such a person give? So we as NUDIPU, we engage with the microfinance institutions to give opportunity to reduce at least this security needs of the microfinance organization, but to see that they pay back the loan. Another challenge that we have gotten is, like for example, in these I-Save groups, we have seen that it's a must, you must save every week. So young persons, if they don't have jobs, if they don't have what to work, what will they save? That's why we are trying to also promote vocational skills, that they may do the vocational activities, and then they, after getting that money, they go and save in these groups. So that's what we say, non-involvement of livelihood programs. That has made them to have non-involvement of livelihood program. But remember, young persons sometimes want quick money. But these programs, you have to be patient. You get a business, you have to get a business slowly and it grows. So that is the challenge that we have also. That quick getting money is also another challenge that we are seeing. So then another thing we have seen, that they also want white collar jobs. They want to be in the offices. But where are the offices? So the mindset change is now what we are working on. We are telling them, be ready to do anything, not only in the office. You can work anywhere and make your money. There is land there. If the family has land, go and do farming and you get something. However, all this is mentorship, counseling, and talking to them. This is one way that NUDIPU is doing, and for the young persons with the disabilities.
Okay. There are still people that believe or still see disabled people as persons that can't do certain things they do. They believe they don't have the ability to do certain things. Now, as NUDIPU, what steps have you taken to make sure that the society better places the youth with disabilities to be accepted in society?
Yeah, you're right. That's what we call negative attitude. There's two ways. Ignorance. Maybe these people don't have information. But if a person has information and continues saying like that, that's what we call negative attitude. But also ignorance contributes towards this negative attitude. That's why we are here today on UBC. Many times we are in different TVs trying to engage the communities, talking to their families, parents. The child has a future. One good thing is, compared to now, education of today and education of previous syllabus, no, now we are seeing that many children are going to school. They are trying, all this is because we are trying to sensitize the importance of education and educating a child with a disability. And in the society, and the society at the end of it says, this one is also disabled, but they can drive. The person with disability can also be a teacher. That's enough to change the mindset of the community. So we say that role models are ourselves. That's why we say we are self-advocates. You see our abilities. That's how we have changed this, the society. Then we also use the community champions. There are some people outside there who are ready and who are good influencers, like traditional leaders, cultural leaders, churches, different approaches. We give opportunity to sensitize and also give out information to the communities. What I want to tell you that this activity of I-Save that NUDIPU is doing has changed a lot of mindset in the communities. Person who is very vulnerable comes to save. So the members of the society are also there. Some people are also there in the groups together with the persons with disabilities. So when they see that, these people are also doing it, saving, they go back to the community and sensitize. And also that is one way that we are doing the mindset change for persons outside in the community and persons with disabilities. Those are the approaches that we are doing, and it's a very key approach.
Okay, right. So as Nodipu, since your focus right now, one of the areas you're focusing on is the empowerment of youths economically. So how do you think this can be achieved at the end of the day?
What I want to say, the achievement, the key is independent life, self-esteem. They can stand and also compete. Like, for example, General Assembly, when they come for voting, they also stand up with a mature person. In the Nodipu board, we have young persons with disabilities. They also talk and now make decisions. And we believe that these young people have done. Nodipu has also helped to mentor these young persons. We also had previously the youth wing, but we have not, it has been registered as organization. We now have Association of Young Persons with Disabilities, independent from Nodipu.
Okay.
But previously it was under Nodipu. This shows that Nodipu even builds the capacity of youth to help them go on. So the youth organization is now a member, full member of Nodipu. That's what shows that Nodipu has been working for all these years to build the capacity, also forming new projects and writing new proposals to work for persons with disabilities. So I'm requesting CSOs, governments to please come together. Let us work to support these young persons with disabilities.
Okay. Okay, right. We very well know the youth are very stubborn people. And then, of course, trying to start up something that involves the youth for them to embrace it, because you mentioned something like white-collar jobs, something that every youth would like to have, that kind of job. But then getting them into vocational training and so much more may be very hard. So how does participation facilitate the social integration of the youths with disability? How do you get them to participate in this without resisting? Is there any kind of motivation?
What is very important is first we talk to them. Many of them don't know the national situation. It doesn't only affect youth with disabilities, but it's a general thing for all youth with disabilities in Uganda. So this one is the motivation talks with them. When they we tell them, when you start your own organization, your business, you get your own money. You see other youths are very successful. So that's how we motivated them, giving them examples of other youth, so they go in for vocational skills. What I want to tell you, at the district level, it's not hard to influence in the area of vocational skills, because you really see that there is a need. The life of this person, the situation of this person, this young person with disability quickly will accept the vocational skill. Compared to the national level, these are different ones. But in the national level, we engage them slowly. They, at the end of it, accept. But at the district, it's very simple. But we also encourage them to form their own NGOs if they feel like it. They write proposals. They make their own organizations to stand firm and grow. They use their skills. Those is also creating jobs for themselves and other members. That's why you see most of the young people are now forming their own organizations. Then also the other approach at the local level, it's easier to motivate them and encourage them to join vocational skills. But first of all, what we do is to identify what is their need. Then we build them using those skills in the area of their need. And at the end of it, we get positive results.
Okay, so as Nudipu, it's very clear that you're one of those organizations that is a voice for these people with disability. And of course, they may be looking up to you. But then I'm very sure that as an organization, you have challenges that you face in terms of financial infrastructure, because you mentioned having about 46 sectors in different regions in the country.
146.
146, yes. So how do you get along with all these expenses?
Yeah, what I want to say, in an NGO, the money, it has never gotten enough money. But however, I want to tell you that we don't get money from the government compared to other countries whereby the government gives the organizations of persons with disabilities money. But for us in Nudipu, no. Government can support our members direct. But for us as in Nudipu, we appreciate the partners. Like the area of youth empowerment, we have Norwegian Association of Disabled, Norway, in short, NAD. It has supported Nudipu for a long time in the area of ISAVE. So persons with disabilities, by the way, have saved billions and billions of money. That is all supported by NAD. We also have now CBM, working in Mitiana, Buvuma, Kasese, and it's also in the same area of ISAVE, vocational trainings and getting skills of entrepreneurship and then forming out their own businesses. We also have Together for Inclusion. It's also supporting persons on employment. We have We Are Able, working in West Nile and Acholi sub-region. It also works in the area of encouraging them to do ISAVE, forming those groups. We have Gender and Disability Program, working in the Karamoja region. It's also promoting youth in Karamoja. So these projects we appreciate because it's partners who are supporting us. But without partners, we wouldn't have done all this and wouldn't have approached and got these young persons with disabilities. Okay. However, we are not working in all 146 districts, but our structures are in those 146 districts. We have district unions in those all 146 districts. We give them information. We call them for regional meetings and give them information, guide them on how to work with the government in case there is any lively program and how to join. So I request all CSOs, different partners, please come and partner with us. Support even the young persons with disabilities in the livelihood programs in those other districts that Nudipu is not in. Okay.
All right, so it's clear that economic empowerment of the youth with disability has a lot that we could talk about, a lot of discussions we could add on there, but just because in the interest of time, we have to stop here. But I would like to thank you, Deborah and Sarah, for coming and joining us into the show today, and of course educating us, giving us much of that information that, yeah, would help society. And of course, we pray that as time goes on, that the people get to embrace people with disability. And of course, since we are talking about equal opportunities and inclusion in society, that the world changes as time goes on. So yes, like I mentioned earlier on, I said that the opportunity for meaningful employment is very important. And we don't only have to look at the economic security of a person, but also we have to look at the physical, the mental, the personal well-being, and the sense of identity and dignity of a person. And yes, the youth are very important, especially when it comes to the youth with disability, and that is why today we are tackling this topic. But yes, our guests have educated us, and that is all we had on the Education Forum today. My name is Amuge Victoria. Until next time, bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Jerry con! Jerry con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! First group is I teach you. But never come up with the muscali. Because of the cover that is very far. Is you serious? It's serious you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry car.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me, and as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial star 100 star 21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.